I love Norse mythology. I love that Scandinavian style of carving like these guys right here. And it just really excites me to do something like that. So I wanted to try a wood spirit in like a Viking Scandinavian style. And I think that's what I accomplished here. And I got two flavors here. As you can see different variations on a theme, so to speak. You can do the one on the left with the braids and the mustache, or you can do the one on the right, which is like a Heimdall version with a Bifrost coming out of his beard. And I think that'd be a lot of fun. The stick is 6 inches long, 1 inch by 1 inch, because we're gonna try it a little bit easier today for like first time projects. I want to make something that's relatively easy, so that's what we're going for here, right? But I also want to do something that's in my style, right? Like that little guy. That's kind of fun. So let's do that, and we're going to start pretty simply by taking off some of this rough surface here. That saw marks there, they're going to cause problems as we get into this, because they become more difficult to take off the further you get into things when you got more detail there. And we can do this relatively easy right now. So we're just going to go ahead and knock that out. And you don't have to use a knife for this. You could use a number 3 gouge, a wider one like that right there, if you wanted to. And you can do it relatively easy like that. I like using this gouge in this manner for larger pieces. I feel like it makes quicker work on larger pieces, but on something small like this, where the blade easily goes across the whole width of the stick, the blade is probably the easiest thing to use. So there we go. All right, we've made some wood chips. Now, to start with, we're going to do, if you look at the overlay, right, we're going to do this fancy brow line thing going on. And it's going to be coming slightly angled down towards the nose. Not too steep, but just a little bit. I'm going to try to recreate it on the other side. And I prefer to turn it sideways like this when I do that, because I can see how deep that upper edge is back here. And so it enables me to meet the same spot and adjust my angle. As I do this, try to find the right angle. And I can erase the lines I don't need along the top to have that similar angle like so. That's what we're going to start with. And we're not going to go too deep with this. Remember that. We're just putting in some indentations right now. Deeper at the top than the bottom. And we're going straight in. So in line with the plane of the wood, we're going to go straight in. I'll use my left thumb on the back of the knife here. I'm going to rock the knife back and forth a bit. And then we're just going to cut up to it. And there's our first top cut. Then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Coming in. Rock the knife back and forth a little bit, and then stop that right up to it and ship that out. Okay, that's step 1. Now we want to put in a nose that's going to be underneath the brow, but we're going to have this brow kind of come up and do this gruff, mean looking thing in the middle. Well, to do that, we want to make sure we set part of the brow in first, which is what we just did. Now the nose, I'm going to come down to about here. Let's go ahead and set the base of the nose in, right? Now the nose is going to be at an angle, you can see on the overlay, but we're not going to put that angle in right now. We're just going to do a stop cut right here and carve up to it. Ship that out a little bit deeper, and then straighten that out a bit. Okay. Now, what we want to do is we want to start to put in the edge of our nose. We're going to come right down to that corner and then right up to the corner of that line we did earlier for our brow top, like so. Now, actually, that line is a bit straighter than this one. We need to fix that. And be okay with fixing things as you go, because the issue here is that this nose didn't go in as far on this side as it does on the other side. So I'm going to correct that right now. Like so. That looks better. So be ready to fix things like that. Now, on this next cut, we're going to cut in on the side of the nose, but I'm going to come in at the angle of the face. So this line here is the angle of the face. We're going to come in straight, We're going to angle it this way. So looking at the knife this way, like we're coming in at an angle. We're coming in straight with this plane and then angling it this way. And then we're going to push straight in. And the deeper part's going to be the top part here, and I'll show you that momentarily. I'm going to push in, and you can see right here, that's how the knife is angled. That's how we're in there. Straight in, and then kink to the side a little bit. Okay? We're the same thing on this side. Straight in, kink the side a little bit. We won't be deeper at the top than we are at the bottom. You can rock it a little bit if you need to get that depth, because you want the knife to be coming out right there at the base of the nose. See that? The knife is exiting right at the base of that nose. And now we're going to try to carve a bit more of a flat plane, following that line all the way up. And then we stop cut here to chip that out. Now we could do the stop cut first. We can do a stop cut right here along the brow and then come down. Now at this angle here, you see I've pivoted the carving, kind of going to go from the top down. As you work, you need to be paying attention to wood direction, the grain, and carving at the easiest angle. I'm going to use my left thumb here to pull this down. As I come down, keeping that tip of the blade right against the edge of that nose, and then chip that piece out right there, which gives us the rough shape of the nose. Now these corners here we don't need, so we're going to take about a 45-degree angle off that corner. Same thing on the other side. It doesn't have to be perfect, just has to be close. All right, now we're going to start to define that nose a bit more before we move on to the rest, right? So let's give ourselves some nostrils. We are going to come in at an angle. Now, the way I'm holding this blade is it's going to be straight with the carving, left to right, and then I'm going to pivot down to about a 45-degree angle here. And then up here in the corner, I'm just going to come right in, okay? And then I'm going to come straight down to it, but I'm going to keep the knife at an angle like this as I come down to it. You can see that angle right there when we came in. Well, I'm going to come down like so. Let's make that a little bit deeper. See, that creates that nice nostril effect right there, huh? Let's do the same thing on the other side. Bring that in. Bring that down. A little bit deeper. That creates, again, that nice nostril effect. Now we can round this nose off a little bit. Let's take a little bit off that side. A little off the top. Same thing on this side. Okay. What else can we do here? Let's get that sharp corner off the top. And then let's go ahead and put a kink in our nose, okay? Right about here, we're going to go straight in, then come down to it. Create a little kink. Actually, let's adjust that angle. So it's a little bit more in. You see that? That gives them a little character for that nose. That's fun. Okay, now we're going to create that little shell for the brow right here. Come straight in there. Straight in there. And then carve it out. Now, because this is going to become part of the nose, this part's going to be angled down slightly. Do the same thing on the other side. There we go. Now, we want to more define that brow a bit more, right? We want to give them something to do with that brow. So we want to have it thinner on the outside, thicker on the inside. What we're going to do is, we're going to do like so. And we're going to come in at an angle, going upwards. Rock that in, and then come down to it. And we're going to repeat this on the other side. So same thing, come up and into it, then come right down to it, like so. What matters is the bottom edge of this lines up. The top doesn't matter so much, because now, let's define that a bit better. Now we're going to take our detail knife, and you can keep your rough out knife if you prefer, and we're just going to smooth this all out at that level of that V cut that we just did. Okay, And that's giving the illusion of that brow. I'm just doing sweeping cuts here, kind of in the side and out at the top. In, out. Nice and smooth, like so. Right? Get all those wood chips out of the way. Okay. So, you can see our brow started to be developed. Go ahead and fix that a little bit. I think I rounded off a bit more than I wanted it to be over there. There we go. That's looking much better. Now our eyes are going to sit up in here underneath that brow. So we're not going to do anything crazy, but we are going to have some good sized eyes. Right? Nothing hard to do. We're just barely over there. I'm drawing 45-degree angle out, 45-degree angle out. Do the same thing here. And we want to get about the same depth of that eye. Right? Now here you could use a V-tool to do this, or you can use a knife. I'm going to use a knife. Going at an angle. Again, at an angle. Chip that out. And chip that out, which creates that effect we need. Same thing here. 45-degree angle in, like so. And then again, like so. And then coming in from the top, chip that out. And then from the bottom, or from the other side, and chip that out. If you don't like it, if you think it's not defined enough, go back in, do it again, make it a little bit deeper. Define it the way you like. Rotate the carving as you need to. You'll have cleaner cuts if you can do it with one cut. If you can't, you got to go back in there and clean out anyway. Don't be too worried about getting perfect cuts when you're new. Spend some time and practice those cuts by doing carvings, and you'll get better and better over time. And don't be too concerned about what tool I use for what I do, because the tools, while they matter, it's getting the shape that matters. The CCA book on eyes, ears, eyes, nose, and lips, right? You'll look in there, if you do, and you'll see that each one of these guys has a different way of doing an eye. They're all getting the same shape, general shape, but they're doing it completely different ways in so many cases, and it's just amazing. And that's a great lesson to learn for carving, because when you're doing this stuff, you can see the shape that I'm getting, and that's what you're going for. But how I get that shape doesn't necessarily have to be how you get that shape. So when I'm talking, I can't help but fidget and do little things on the carving. Just round off some edges more. I'm going to round off the bottom of that nose too while we're talking about it. Okay. Now, what we want to do is we want to define some really good cheekbones here, some high angular cheekbones. Okay. So we're going to come right here to where that top of that nostril is, and that's going to be the top of our cheek. Come down at an angle, and right there, and then do the same thing back up over here. Okay. So over here, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to come down that angle from the top of that nostril, and then come down and meet it over here as well to create those nice high cheekbones. And I'm going to come in at an angle, okay? Down into here like this. And then from the base of the nostril right here, right? That's the top of the nostril. Here's the top of that corner. I'm going to come in and create a 45-degree angle right there. That's going to be the top of the mustache. And we do the same thing on this side over here. 45-degree angle in. You can see that. Angled up. Creating that nice angular cheekbone. So over here, 45-degree in. Coming down to the top of that nostril. I'm going to come up. Create that angular cheekbone. Same thing here, 45-degree angle in, 45-degree angle on the other side, and meet in the middle. Now we're starting to see that angular face we're going for, and I think that I want to define the bottom of that eye a bit more. Do the same thing over here. Just carve out that bottom corner, you see? I think that looks a little bit better. I'll be adjusting things like this all the time when I'm carving. Just saying, oh, I can make that a little bit better here, or a little bit better there. And for some carving, it doesn't matter that much. But if you want to adjust it, you adjust it. If you don't want to adjust, don't adjust it. All right, so we're going to separate out this brow a bit here. What we're going to do is we're going to come in at a bit of an angle right here. 45-degree angle, 45-degree angle. And separate that out. Looks great. Now we're going to round this just slightly along that brow line. And then we're going to create some hashes in here. We want to get about 4 of them in, right? Not that big. 1, 2, 3, 4. And do the other side. 1, 2. Oh, didn't pop that one all the way. There we go. 3 and 4. There we go. That's looking pretty good, I think. Now we're gonna do a nice wide beard, a wide mustache, and a lip underneath it, right? So that's the top edge of our mustache right here. We already got that in. And we're just gonna follow that down here, like so. Same thing, follow that down like so. And then up underneath here, we're going to do a roundness like so. That's going to make the bottom of the mustache. All right, so that's the goal here. So on this section here, we're going to be doing rounding that eye angle off. But you don't have to do that first. You can just draw this line first. And so I'm just going to push the knife in and come down like so. And the same thing on this side. Just push the knife straight in and guiding it down. Now we can carve that out however you want to. You can come in from an angle on the side like that. You can try to swoop up to the bottom of the cheek if you want to, like so. And then just keep setting that back in. Once we do get that defined, we can carve that hard corner off. Relatively easy. So same thing over here. We can either come in, find the shape like this. Yeah, or you can do the other direction. I'll take that hard corner off the mustache. Okay, now we're going to work on this bottom section here. We're going to carve up and in, right? Or you can do it down. I'm going to start here in the middle, and I'm just going to bring that down, okay? Like so. And then same thing here. Notice I'm rotating the carving because to me, carving at this angle seems easier than the angle I was just doing for that side of the carving. And just bring it down to about right there. And then I'm going to carve up. Bring that. And this side I'm going to carve down. You know what? I don't like that. I'm going to carve this direction. Play with the wood. See what you like. Feel the grain. See what you feel like the grain needs. Or whatever it is that you're doing. And then carve accordingly. Don't get yourself hurt. There we go. That's looking pretty good, right? Looking very Viking distinctive. All right, now we're going to give him a mouth a bit. So we're just going to draw the top of the lip right here. Okay, and everything in there needs to come out. And then we're going to do the bottom of the lip. Right, so like that. So to get this out, I'm going to do a deep stop cut there along the top. The other side as well. And then coming in like so. So that got that cut, right? Now we're doing that lip. Just round that front of that lip off a little bit. And then we do a little V cut right here. One here in the middle. Then one here on the other side. Fix that middle up. I'm just cleaning up those edges a little bit while I do this. And that's looking much better, huh? Not too shabby. Just got some pencil marks up here, I just noticed. I'll take those pencil marks off. There we go. Okay, now to give him some Viking flair, first off, let's bring that better up into the chin, right? Okay, this guy's a Viking. And Vikings have braids in their beards. Let's give him a braid. You don't necessarily have to. Do whatever you want to. You're carving. There's options here for what you can do and how you do this. I think for us, we're going to give him a braid. So we're going to use our V tool and we're going to draw some lines here. Come in like down, down. Just some stuff for the mustache, right? Some little lines. And then once we get over here, we'll have lines coming down, but we need to start doing braids here. So we'll have a braid kind of this pattern, right like so. You see? And so to match that as best we can, yeah. Like so. So let's go ahead and do that. And now you don't have to do a V tool. I'm going to show you how. Okay. So with a V tool, to do this, it's nice and easy. The V tool is in the shape of a V, where you can see a little bit. Let me adjust that. There we go. Just a V shape, right? So we can just draw these lines, help us to define things. But you don't have to do this with a V tool. You could do this with a knife. For instance, right here, you can come in and do a V cut. And a V cut. Right? So I can do all of these with the knife. For brevity's sake, I'm going to use the V tool because I have one. And you don't have to get one of these fancy V tools like I've got. You could get a Dockyard V tool. Those are pretty cheap, like $15. This is a 3mm V, and it works the same way. You just put that V channel. It's got that V channel right there, right? You just put that V channel right there, and you just carve that line, like so. And take your time on this. You can see I'm not going too fast, not rushing. I may deepen some of these lines as I go, make them look a little bit better. It's a Viking, right? If he doesn't look Viking-esque, what else do we need to do to him to make him look like a Viking? Like a Nordic style wood spirit, right? I really like this Nordic style. You're going to see a lot of the carvings on my channel have that style going on. So if you like that kind of thing, you're going to find yourself at home here. But you don't necessarily have to like the kind of thing, because I got other stuff too, whimsical stuff on the channel. It's probably a good time to mention that if you like the channel, if you like the video, please like the video, subscribe to the channel. That kind of thing really helps me out because it shows the video to more people. And when you like the video and comment down below, I get inspired to make more videos. When people say, Johnny, I like that one, you know, I really appreciate it. So please do that. Let's go ahead and deepen that right there. And then I'm going to go at a shear angle, take a little slice out like that. And then bring that in on that edge. Yeah, like that. Kind of same thing over here. Deepen that up underneath that lip. And then bring that braid around. Like so. We can add some more lines here for the mustache to connect, like so. When you get those little stray lines, just take a good hard bristle brush and wipe them away like that. That's looking pretty good so far. Okay, so now we're gonna put some lines for the bottom of the beard here. Smooth this out a bit. I'll put some details into on the face a little bit. We're gonna need like some bags under his eyes a bit, I think, to give him a little more life. And then let's round that out a bit so it's not just a hard corner, to make it easier to add some brow wrinkles. Like so. Add a wider one up top. Little V cuts. Right? Oh. Chip in the top. Starting to add some personality to them, you know. That brush if you need to brush things out. Now, let's add some lines here to the beard, because we got this beard started. I'm just going to be swapping between V-tools. I want to show you, like, you don't need to have just one specific V-tool. Any of these V-tools I've shown you will work. Even just the knife alone will work. You don't have to have one specific tool. Whatever tool works best for you or is best for the price point that you have available to you, that's the one. Be very careful with the V-tool right there. When it starts going too deep, change direction. Come back from the other direction. Clean that up. That one's still going too deep. Let's clean it up with the knife. What we're doing is we're going to do one side and then the other. Right? If you think to yourself, man, I like that cut better. Awesome. Do these V cuts then with your knife. Right? Just to add some style to the beard. We can do that coming down like so. And then we'll V cut that in. Right like this. And then I'm just going to fold the knife into the bottom of that cut. On the bottom there, just go ahead and chip out a little actually do the same thing here. Ship that out kind of like that. All right. Another one there. Didn't quite ship out all the way. There we go. And then like so. And the last one for that. And there we go. Now we got those deep lines too. We can really set it apart if we wanted to by having some smaller lines in around it. So I'm going to take this little V tool, and you can do this of course with a knife. It's just easier right now for me with this V tool. I'm going to randomize that a little bit. And up here we're just going to do a couple real quick short ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right there underneath this chinny chin chin. Okay. So that's starting to look pretty neat, I think. I think it looks fabulous. So now what can you do with the back, right? You've got a couple options. You can do another face on the back side if you wanted to, because you get this whole back side that's completely undone. Or if you want to, you can make this into a keychain or a hanger. You can hang it from a rearview mirror. And then if you want to, you can just smooth it back out here and then write something on it. So like on this one, I wrote... I am what I am. Yeah, so subscribe to the channel if you like these videos. Subscribe to the channel. Again, subscribe to the channel. Please subscribe to the channel. So I'm going to paint these guys up, and of course you've already seen what they look like. And most of it's going to be stained, but this guy's going to get a little paint, I think. It'd be like a Heimdall kind of rainbow road there, you know, for like the Bifrost. So take a look at that. Not time for the money shot. And there we have it all finished up. There's going to be another video on the channel posted here almost immediately after this one that's going to show how I finished these guys, the Danish oil, the paste finishing wax, painting the Bifrost on the beard of the one on the right there. So if you want to see that process, there's another video for that. Not everybody likes the painting videos, so I had to make sure I separate those out for those who don't care to see those. Other than that, though, I really appreciate you guys being with me on this one. Thank you so much for watching the channel. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and other than that, hope you guys have a great day. Now stick around and watch one of these other videos.